what are the other types of external advice that businesses and directors may seek? Talking about sort of product substitutes to what you've created with the Advisory Board Centre.
There are so many different types of advice, and it goes from the spectrum of informal to formalised. One is not more important than the other, though. I think what's important is what is the right advisory structure for the situation. An advisory board is not the answer to everything, and it doesn't replace other forms. And I think that's really important to know, because sometimes at the informal level, where you've got family and friends who have been giving you advice since the day you were born, through to peers in business and peer networks, which are really the socialisation of entrepreneurs and business owners is so important. Through to business networks, which is another way of people getting advice where it's really opportunistic and get support collaboratively from other business owners. I think that's really important part. But then you get informal advisory boards. That's where in the past the majority of advisory boards have been, where a business owner will get together a group of people they might know, they might include their current professional service providers. They'll sit around the table, they don't get paid, but they'll just generally talk about business. They kind of fizzle out. But if you have no budget and you're trying to do something, I think good on you for giving it a go, but they're not as impactful long-term or strategic. Then you get the one-on-one engagement, where you get the consultant, the professional services provider, a consultant or a mentor or a coach, and that's that one-on-one engagement. That kind of advice is really very project-led or very specialised-led. Where it gets challenged is where business owners look for one person to have the answer for everything. And because an individual gets asked to fill a particular space, that from the goodness of their heart, they'll try and fill it, but may not necessarily be they may not necessarily be the right person to be providing that advice. So that's where it becomes grey around that individual engagement. The next level of advice that becomes more formalised is a formalised advisory board, where you've got understanding really what your strategic priorities are, and then you build your advisory board structure specifically for that need. Most common structure for an advisory board is 5 people, 2 people internally, 2 external advisors and a chair. Then the most formal structure is a governance board, where it's the serious undertaking of generally around 7 people. They meet 10 to 12 times a year. And you may have seen in the financial review just last week about how they're also being hit with regards to directors and officers insurance. So it's very expensive. So the governance boards, I think, have been so challenged at this time that I'm really looking forward to the advisory board sort of sector supporting governance boards more with the big job that they've got at hand.